Lakeside Dental Clinic, Go Island, is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic.
We're at Ladysmith Secondary School today, where Hul'qumi'num language is front and center through sport. The involvement of prominent local athletes from Vancouver Island University and the Nanaimo Timbermans, combined with First Nation elders, are ensuring that language is developed and encouraged to grow within our school system. We're talking about that today on Go. Inspiration through animation that you've probably seen before. A student teaching students to stand up through drama in Victoria's Abkhazi Garden and Uncertain Future. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're here, as I mentioned, at Ladysmith Secondary School as 26 teams comprising of 6 students each compete in basketball, lacrosse, or soccer. Well, what does that have to do with First Nations language? A lot. If you incorporate phrases into the game, things like shoot the ball, run over here, stop, don't touch it, all in the Hul'qumi'num language. It's all about showing how important it is not just to preserve a First Nations language, but grow it and develop it for all students in the district. We're going to start over now on Gabriola Island. Rayanne LaPlante introduces us to a man who has made a career of making dreams come true. I think it's safe to say that. Joan Brown is the language coordinator at the Coast Salish Employment Center. She's also working on a master's degree in language revitalization, and you've played a key role in the events taking place here today. What role do you have?
I've worked with Bill and Mandy in the planning of the whole Spuptitul. The key players, of course, School District 79, as everyone had mentioned. But for us, the important thing was getting people here to celebrate the language. So we wanted to make sure the kids came and felt welcomed. That was our role.
Now, what is the connection between language and sport?
What we're trying to do with introducing sport in the language, we wanted to make sure that the language is everywhere. It doesn't just belong in our schools or at work, but it belongs in our whole day, in everything that we touch and breathe. So we wanted to make sure that the kids had an opportunity to experience some other language.
I can imagine the challenges in revitalizing a language that is on the brink of extinction.
It is. Like for Nanaimo, for example, we only have 3-4 fluent speakers left. So what we're trying to do is get our children to take that role of bringing the language back. So the elders put a lot of hope into these young people that you see today, and hopefully that they're going to carry that torch of bringing the language to the next generations.
And the language won't be brought back, I don't imagine, in a way that is the same as it was, because times have changed. There's new references, there's new perspectives. So it's not just resurrecting, it's growth and development.
Yes, but it's also like, that there's so much spirituality associated to the language, so it's about bringing that inner self out. So it's just strengthening that inner being. So it's more than bringing the language back, it's a way of life. So there's certainly new words that are going to be created, but the essence is bringing that inner spirit back to life.
Now this event, an event like this has been going in School District 79, which is Cowichan, for about 10 years.
This is the 11th.
Why did you want to bring it here?
It's like throwing a pebble in the pond, so it's spreading like this. We're trying to celebrate the languages as far as we can. 79 has been carrying the torch for such a long time. We want to take our role and just expand it as far as we can, so everybody's going to buy into celebrating the language.
I'm trying to picture myself learning the language, and it's overwhelming.
It is, but it's so important. What we always argue is that it's going to benefit everyone, not only our people, but anyone that lives in the territory. So if you want to benefit from the land, you have to learn the language. That's where you're going to ground and root everybody. It crosses all generations, all colors.
Could you imagine a First Nations language being a second language, an official second language in Canada?
Yes, absolutely. We want Ichiwild to be as prominent as Aloha, or that's our goal. So we just want people to be aware of the language and celebrate it and love it as much as we do.
Will you share something with me now in your language?
Ichiwild, I couldn't see Lamnama. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. I can imagine the time it would take to pronounce
Yes.
just that. Thank you so much. We're just touching the surface of First Nations language revival and revitalization here in School District 68, 69, and 79, I think, all over the central Vancouver Island. We'll be back with more after a short break. Empowering students to take a stand through drama, student to student, and keeping a regional treasure blooming at Victoria's Abkhazi Garden.
So I'm Chris Beaton, the Executive Director of the Nanaimo Aboriginal Centre. Did you know that there are 4 times as many Aboriginal youngsters under the age of 4 than the non-Aboriginal population here in Nanaimo?
You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're in the middle of group presentations here at the 11th annual Spuptitul language competition. We'll be rejoining more of the activities here later on Go Island. In the meantime, we're going to focus on another secondary school student now who is doing what she can, anything she can in her own time to bring drama to students. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. John Wesley is the new chief for the Nanaimo First Nations, playing a big part here at the competition. It doesn't seem like it's very serious competition, but the message underneath is obviously important, which is why you're here.
Yes, well, we support our youth in learning the language. Language is really important. The last 4 years since I was at CSETs, we're promoting the language, and the language started to grow. And now they have competitions on language, speaking the language in basketball, lacrosse, and soccer and stuff like that. So the kids are really starting to grasp a hold of it and bring it back and save it.
And this is the Hulkamanum language, which is what the Sunemu tribe
and the
speaks.
Coast Salish people speak.
Okay.
Yeah, right from Qualcomm to Victoria. Victoria is in Chawton, so it's a little bit different. I'd say a lot different, I guess.
How close did we come to losing the language?
Real close, really close. Right now in Nanaimo, we got one elder that speaks the true Nanaimo language, the dialect, and he's Patty Brown. So it's just come really close. Now we're going to try to save it by getting things recorded all the time, and having a competition like this with all the youth is great. So they're going to save it for us.
I think one of the challenges that I'm finding today is to be able to pronounce things and to sort of share in some of that language. It's not an easy tongue dialect for us white folk to grasp.
Well,
Can you teach me a word or two?
Well, I wouldn't want to say it on camera.
You're one of the students learning too, right?
That's right. That's right. It's really good. I took the language classes in Duncan, actually, where my mom's from.
Yeah.
So I got that little bit of a dialect, and then I got Nanaimo ones too as well. So it's slowly coming back through the school, our school on reserve, and we got a number of teachers now that teach it, which is great.
How do you know when you brought it back? When is it successful? When can you say we are no longer at risk of losing our language?
By working together with the school district, I think they're working with us and helping support this program, which is great. I think that gives us a strong hold of it, so we're not going to let it go.
Excellent, thank you. A pleasure to meet you finally.
Okay.
And we will be talking more about the role of First Nation language in the school district later on this edition of Go. It's time for a short break. Bill Robinson is a trustee with School District 68 and chair of the Multicultural and Race Relations Committee with the school district. We were speaking on the phone earlier about how there is lots of room to bring in First Nations language into everyday operations within the school district. What are some examples of how that can be done?
Well, the direction we're going with this Spuptitul, this is our big breakout in the district, that Hulkamanum. Our goal is to make it more prevalent in the entire school district. So this is our big bang, if you will. And it all started with Mandy Jones and Joan Brown and myself talking about the fact they've done this for 10 years down in Cowichan. And we said, do a small one. We'll just do K to 3 to get started.
Right, I have a sense that it kind of grew and expanded from there.
It got a little out of hand. We have 120 kids and other people here. And it's really making a statement that how important Halkomenam language is. And when the language comes into our schools, culture comes along with it. And so this is our big bang, as I said. And then the next move is we are going to work towards Halkomenam signage in schools so that kids will start to feel, Aboriginal kids, feel more welcome, more proud of their culture. With pride comes self-esteem and self-confidence. With self-esteem and self-confidence comes improved marks and success in schools.
What's the biggest challenge, do you think, in this whole process? And I know it's a big process and a big issue.
You know what? I don't see it as a challenge at all. The challenge is to get started, and we're starting today. And we're also working at maybe half a dozen short sentences that teachers use in classrooms all the time. Good job, Johnny, for instance.
Do you know how to say that?
No, I don't.
We have some homework to do. You and I both, Bill, have some homework to do.
So that's, we hope to have the language start to get seeded in the school, bringing culture along, and changing the atmosphere for our Aboriginal kids and the success rate.
There's one word, haishka.
Haishka, thank you.
Thank you.
Haishka.
Thank you, Bill. We're going to head down to Victoria now. James Green is giving us an update on Abkhazi Gardens. That brings us to the end of another edition of Go Island. Before we sign off for today, thank you and congratulations to all of the organizers and participants of the 11th annual Spuptitul language competition that took place here at Ladysmith Secondary School. Thanks for watching Go. We'll see you next time. Hushka.
Lakeside Dental Clinic Go Island is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic, a division of the Vancouver Island Implant Centre, delivering dental services, including dental implants and sedation dentistry, all under one roof. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.